Hope you all are doing well today. This is part of our Etude book series where we work through each of the exercises in different books to give you an idea of what you should be working on and some perspective on how the different etudes work and what they give you as far as benefits to your playing. So this is going to be exercise number 2 out of the 70 Progressive Studies for Bass Trombone by Gillis, a fantastic book for both younger players and older players, and obviously for a low range work for most of us. So a couple things to keep in mind. Check out the description below. You're going to find 3 items. First off is going to be a link to the book if you don't already have a copy of it. Second thing you're going to find is going to be a link to a free copy of the warm-up book, which is my warm-up book and routine that I do each and every single day. And third thing you're going to find are timestamps. That's going to give you a chance to move through this video and jump into which sections are going to be the most helpful. We're going to divide the video into 3 parts. First thing we're going to do is hit a lesson style, touch on a couple spots, talk about the etude in general. Second thing we're going to do is do a little bit of counting through the exercise. And then last but not least, the third thing we're going to do is just play top to bottom. So feel free to jump around to get whatever value you need out of it. So as always, be sure to subscribe, give us a like, throw us a comment if you have any ideas or things you think could benefit you or others. And as always, if you want to be able to notify yourself of other videos like this that are coming out, be sure to click the bell notification button as well. So let's get started. Here is Gillis number 2. And the first thing you're going to want to do is number all of your measures, because that's how I'll refer to it. So in number 2, the first thing we're going to look at is going to be measure 1. So in this measure, there's going to be 2 different things we're going to work on. First thing we're going to take a look at is just simply the work for either your trigger or your 4th valve, going from low B flat up to C. We don't want any mushiness or dirtiness, as we'll describe it, in the sound. So you need to move your valve or your trigger very quickly. Make sure you're blowing straight through. So let's just play only the first 2 beats of this and see how it sounds. Here we go. We're going to go a little bit slower than full tempo. Let's take a shot. We need to make sure that we're blowing consistently through and that so the volume nor the sound quality changes between the low B flat and C's in the first beat or the low F into the second beat. Remember in the Gillis etudes that we are going to move down in all these first series of the first about 10 or so down to the low F. So we need to make sure that note has great quality and clarity, and then we don't kind of just toss it out as kind of the outlier of the etude. Now, second thing we're going to look at in this first measure is going to be the slur going up to the D. It is going to be a little bit more challenging to blow through this, so a couple things to keep in mind. If you're not able to blow through the entire measure in one breath, it is perfectly fine to either breathe in the middle after the second beat or even breathe every beat if necessary. The key, as always, is that you need to sound your best and use your air. So if you're running out, just simply take another breath. So let's try that out. We're going to blow all the way through the full first measure. And again, making sure that we're not tightening up, we're not pinching, we're staying open, relaxed, blowing all the way through. Let's take a shot at it. Here we go. We want to make sure that each of those notes speak cleanly, and then again, we're not tightening, pinching, or kind of getting that wee kind of scoop sound as we move up toward the top notes. Typically in Gillis, we're going to go from different octaves of the horn, and we need to make sure that the consistency of sound and quality and style are maintained throughout. All right, now let's jump ahead in this. We're going to go now to measure 8. This is going to be the middle measure of the 3rd line, for those of you who have the same book that I've got. Now, what we're listening for here is that we're going to be playing octaves on a descending line. So we're going to play C down to low C, and then F down to low F. What we want to do here is ensure that the quality of sound is maintained, and sometimes we're going to be tempted to just kind of let the low notes just kind of flop out of the horn. They're not going to always be centered. They're not always going to have good support. So we want to blow all the way through this phrase, making sure that we give extra intensity and air and support to the low's lower notes. So let's try it out. Here we go. Measure number 8. Now, another thing to be aware of in measure 8 is that the last note is going to be articulated. Both F's are under the slur, but we do want a nice clean articulation on that second note. And being that this is a lower note, it needs more air naturally. It automatically is going to be something that we need to tum a little bit harder to give the same clarity and balance that an articulation in a more middle of the range horn area would be. So let's try it one more time, and again, get a really nice articulation on that second low F. Let's try it again. Here's again number 8, measure number 8. Alrighty, now third place I'm going to have us jump over to, this is going to be the last measure, measure number 12. Here, instead of playing octaves in a descending line, we're actually going to go up. We're going to play from the tuning B flat down to the low B flat, but more importantly, then we're going to jump back up to tuning B flat again. What we're listening for, again, is just the last 3 notes of the piece. It's going to be a chance where a lot of us are going to be sometimes tempted to mentally check out. So we need to stick with it, blow straight through the horn, and the quality of all 3 notes, whether it's the upper octave or the lower, need to be identical, and they all need to be perfect. Let's try it out. Just last 3 notes of the piece. Tuning B flat, low B flat, tuning B flat. Let's try it out. Alright, now one more time on that last measure. We're just going to play now from the beginning of the measure and blow all the way through. Making sure, again, we have good air support. Make sure the sound is where we need it to be. Nice, clean articulation to start the piece. And then no scooping, tightening, or tensing up on the octave jumps. Let's try it out. Here we go. Top to bottom as far as the last measure of the piece. Measure number 12. Here we go. Alrighty, now let's move into the next section of the piece where we are going to work on our counting. So again, most of you are going to be surprisingly weak at counting through pieces. It may seem very silly on these first few, but if we aren't getting used to and getting comfortable with our counting and being able to look at the piece the way it's actually written, we don't stand a chance of being able to play our absolute best when it comes to the number 65 exercise out of the same book or other things that we're going to want to work on. So from the very top, this is in 4/4. As always, remember the 4 notes, 4 beats in the measure, and the quarter note is going to be getting the beat. We're going to start right from the top, counting all the way through, and we will be counting any kind of subdivisions that we need to as far as longer held out notes. Keep that in mind as well. So if you're comfortable, sing it out loud and count. If you're not comfortable with the actual singing of this, then you can just simply count on a single pitch. The key is that you're able to count this and not just play through it. So here we go. From the top, let's flex the golden pipes. Here we go. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. 1 E and a 2 and 3 and 4. So the key that we're looking for is confidence, being able to count through that. And if you're not able to maintain good rhythm and good stability as you count, you're certainly not going to be able to do it on the horn. So let's now move to our final section. We're going to play this top to bottom. Remember, when you are in performance mode, as we are now going to be, never stop. You don't get to go back. Be aware of what you're doing overall so you know what items you'd like to address next time. But you need to enter a performance mindset with your only focus being to entertain the audience, to sound your best, to be as clean as possible, to play with lots of confidence, and make sure you have a very short memory. Don't have any regrets. Don't let one little mistake, if you make it, turn into more than that. So here we go, top to bottom, no stops, performance mindset. Thanks for sticking around, everybody. Be sure to check out other etudes that we're putting out there. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below or shoot us a message. Be sure to connect with us on other social media platforms and keep up the hard work and your excellent and best playing. See you guys next time.